For like, I think an hour or two or something. Then because of that, they lost.
Terima kasih.
I like the soft and chewy one. It's called Apam Balik.
Apa balik?
Normally we'll put kangkong inside, but kangkong of soft. Must take this one.
또 맛있어?
This is the thing, you need to take like the tofu fried stuff, then they will absorb the flavor. Left.
Right.
你可以继续这样子烧。
Too old man is okay.
You are never too old to play. In every way.
You know what?
你这个不能插。那的手已经是折了。
快点，快点，快点！
拿来，自己拿。谢谢。
新年快乐！
What?
来，快点！新年快乐！新年快乐！快点跑！快点跑！快点跑去找妈咪！哦，
背包要做。
哇，现在的那个思想不一样了哎，以前是没，那幅画没有机会画了。
新年快乐！
That's why it's irony. Which one? Nepal?
Yeah, I do Nepal, Bangladesh.
This is definitely Bangladesh. When you were young, you were still just don't care what. Play card game, play a few months.
Those are mango.
Those are mango trees. Oh, that's so good.
That's not cute.
Mango fruit ma, like rotten and everything like that. We just come here, we just go inside there, and then we just throw. And we feed.
告处，兔姓高照画，方来小199，同姓10全10枚。
哇！新年快乐，步步高升，身体健康。还有什么？12年行大运，什么都有啊！稍微 light some more 人家应该是。
对呀。
你看太挤了。来，試飯。
이게 뭔데?
Sago. Coconut sago.
火在点呢，还在那边。
오. Cheese.
These are the kids.
몰라.
Buy
buy the one she likes.
She don't like it.
不要不要。
甜甜蜜蜜，我们直接 skip 到蜜蜜。
甜甜蜜蜜，招财进宝，人人有钱。
为什么？谢谢。这两个。Because it takes longer time for you to start from initial prep. They want to dilute off and filter down. Compare and nice. Buy two, get one free.
Buy two.
Maybe. Maybe.
Open of the rock, and then from the rock, they will actually slack out the tin. They will go, and also they cannot withstand too much of the cold. So if you reach them, like if I'm not forgotten.
와. Yeah, this the right hand side.
this is 이거 맛있어.
What's that? Oh.
Fish satay. Do you think you wanna buy anything?
Wow.
Bánh mì湯底係有咖喱味同白汁。This one?
Ini
Is it? Literally. So because of the, you see here it has a lot of like
I was okay.
no man. No, suddenly forget how it works.
I thought you were gonna order the longan. Oh yeah, 맞아. 와.